Hi, this is Shankar, and today I want to explain some principles of Bhrigu Nadi. I mean, how do we do predictions in Bhrigu Nadi? I will not be able to explain in details, but these are all indicative things, and if you hear it properly and try to apply them, you would learn. I mean, it's not possible for me to tell everything, immediately or suddenly, or even I'll be not able to express myself properly. But let us try to understand some of the Bhrigu principles which could be important for you. Let us take a chart where you have uh, where every time in Bhrigu Nadi it is the first house is Aries. So it is Aries 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. As in Kalpurush, you make a chart starting with Aries. We have Mars retrograde in Aries. A retrograde Mars is in Aries. Rahu is in Gemini, right? Surya, Sun and Budh is in Virgo. Sun and Budh is in Virgo. Shukra and Budh, uh, Shukra and Surya and Shukra are in Virgo, just to report. Surya and Shukra are in Virgo. Shani and Budh, Saturn and Budh are in Libra. Chandrama and Ketu are in Sagittarius. Uh, Jupiter is in Capricorn. There are no planets in Aquarius and Pisces. So you make a chart as per Kalpurush, and following should be the planets. Retrograde Mars in Aries. Let Aries be the ascendant. Let's call it as ascendant. Mars retrograde is in Aries. In Gemini we have a Rahu. In Virgo you have Sun and Venus. In Virgo you have Sun and Venus. In Libra you have Saturn and Budh. In Libra we have Saturn and Budh. In Sagittarius we have Chandrama and Ketu. In Capricorn we have a Brihaspati. So in the sixth house you have to repeat again. In the sixth house we have Surya and Shukra. In the seventh house we have Shani and Budh, Saturn and Budh in the seventh house. And in the ninth house we have Chandrama and Ketu. In the 10th house we have Jupiter, Brihaspati. 11th and 12th is not there. I mean, there are no planets in the 11th and 12th house. So after making this chart, let us understand, suppose this is the chart, so which is there, I mean, with these combinations. And how do you analyze this chart as per the Nadi system? Let us see what would be the philosophy of the person, who is the religious philosophy, the religious inclination of this person. Now, the religious inclination of the person, you have to see Jupiter. Jupiter is in the sign of Capricorn, which is a sign of structure, order, and discipline. It is also an important sign in terms of, in terms of dharma and karma also. So Jupiter is in Capricorn. The planet which is 12th to Jupiter, which is trying to come close to Jupiter or behind Jupiter, is Chandrama and Ketu. Chandrama is the representative of Parvati, and Ketu represents the tail. So you have Jupiter, which is in a Ishwar Amsa, which is in a place where it is akin to knowledge, structure, and discipline. And 12th to that you have Chandrama and Ketu, which represent Parvati and the tail. Therefore, the person would be ascetic in nature. He would follow the Shiva system. He would be a person who would earn money but will be very well detached to the whole thing. Now, let us see in native's horoscope. Let us analyze what would be the father of the native. The father of the native is always represented by Sun. Sun is with Venus, and uh, Venus here is debilitated. Now, Sun with a debilitated Venus, which would mean that the father would be a person who would take kind of a pleasure in spending money. He would have a false sense of pride. He would try to show things, and a kind of vanity will also be there. So that is what happens when Sun is with Venus. That is because Venus is debilitated here. So we take it as it is, and this would be the characteristic of the father. Now, the second house, uh, which is there from Sun, is we have Shani and Budh there. Now, Saturn and Budh again are planets which, though Saturn is in its exaltation state, it is with Budh aspected by Mangal. So here it shows again that the second house is strong, but it is aspected by Mars, so it would the impact will be reduced. Therefore, the father will not have too much of a ancestral property or in money which would come to him. Now let us see the third thing. What is the profession of the native? The sign Virgo, where a sun is placed, is the sign of agriculture. It's a sign of land. It is a sign of cultivation. So most probably and it is with the debilitated Venus. So most probably the father could be an agriculturist who would be dealing with uh, uh, with with land. He will Virgo also deals with well. So he would be more or less a person who would be in the field of agriculture. So that is what is the profession of the father. Right now, let us go a little forward and let us see what will be the main event in the life of the father. What would happen, which is a major event which we can see from this horoscope in the life of the father. Now, sun is with Shukra, and second house to it is Shani and Budh. Right now, Surya and next house second to Surya is Saturn. Saturn is the son of Surya. So there is a relationship of his income getting in, getting going to his sons, because Saturn is a Saturn is the son of a sun, and it is placed second to Surya. So there is an element of the children being involved with him. Now, also from the seventh house, you see that there is a Mars which is looking at Saturn. Now, Mars is the Karak of two things. Mars is the Karak of land, Mars is the Karak of brothers, and Mars is the Karak of disputes. So, all three things are going to happen because Mars, very strongly placed in retrogression, is aspecting Shani and Buddha. So, and that is the second house to Sun. Therefore, Mars is brothers, and Mars is land, and Mars is connected with the brothers of the native. Mars becomes the brother of the native. So the native's brother are also connected with the sun. Now what happens is, now when you have this particular aspect where Surya and Shukra, they are together, and the second house to it is Shani and Budh. I've explained you, with Mars aspecting it. And Budh, let us see what does it do. Budh is a planet of division. It is a planet which divides, which can create a division. And if you go a little more detail, you will see that there is a exchange between Budh and Shukra. Now this is the most important thing in the horoscope, that there is an exchange between Budh and Shukra. So therefore it fortifies when we say an exchange is there, literally means that Venus is actually in Libra and Budh is exalted in Mercury. Or other way we can say that Budh is the depositor of a Surya and Shukra. Budh is the depositor of Surya and Shukra. Now, therefore, this person's income, which is related from Sun, which is related by the second house, is divided between his sons and his brothers. That is, and after a little bitter fight, because Mars is there, it's a planet of dispute. It is a planet where some kind of aggression takes place. So therefore, what it means is that the income of the father, which is represented by the second house, the income of the native's father, which is represented by the second house from Sun, gets divided between the son and the brothers. That is, Surya being the Karak of father, it shows that the father's money, which he has earned, which is represented by the second house, actually gets divided between his brothers and his children. So this is how you have to analyze the event which can take place. This is how you have to analyze the event which can take place, and this is with respect to respective sun. I hope I've been able to give you a clear principle that sun is the Karaka of father. See the second house to sun, which has got Saturn and Buddha. It is aspected by Mars. Mars and Saturn both on one hand deal with land and property, and there is an exchange between Shukra and Buddha. Mars being also a planet of dispute and also a planet which represents brothers, it shows that the native's father had amassed wealth, and that wealth got distributed between because of the aspect of Mars, it got distributed between the his brothers and the sun. So now this is how you have to see the play of planets, and that is how the Bhrigu Nadi system works. Actually, that is how it works. Now in the Nadi system, what we do is we see in the first round the Jupiter. It actually goes across. It is 12 years. It goes around. That is, if Jupiter is in Capricorn, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So like that, it moves for 12 years from that particular place. And in the first round, we only see nothing else. We don't see the aspects, we don't see the yogas, and this I will tell you in the later videos also how to find it out. We don't see anything else in the first round, that is the first 12 years. We just see how Jupiter transits in the signs and which other planets it aspects and what do those planets can cause. Now if you see here, Brihaspati will actually transit between on Mars in the age of 3, 4, and it will also transit Rahu. Now these are the two planets. Mars is a planet of wounds, Rahu is a planet of windy troubles. So when Brihaspati energizes Mars and Rahu, they should cause problems. And they will cause, because when Brihaspati transits over Mars in the 4th year and the 3rd year, and then in the 6th year Rahu, it will cause windy trouble. But more important is when its transit over Mars. When it transits over Mars, Mars is strong, it can cause wounds. But here, you have to see it in this way, that yes, some wound will happen, something will happen, there will be some danger to his life when Brihaspati transits over Mars. But the energy of Mars to create damage in the first round of Jupiter is not there, because Mars, the activity of Mars gets a little subdued or gets reduced because of Saturn aspecting Mars. So because Saturn is aspecting Mars, it pulls Mars down. It does not let it act with its total energy. So Mars in Aries, which has the potential of causing, and when Jupiter transits, of causing some kind of wound or trouble, may not happen because of its aspect on Saturn. So therefore, this is how you have to see. When Jupiter will transit over Rahu, it will cause some windy trouble, some kinds of gas and wind trouble. That is what Rahu actually denotes. And also when Jupiter transits over Virgo and Libra, there would be problems because the depositors are sitting 12th to it. So when it transits Virgo and Libra, they are not. You have to just see Jupiter as it is. Jupiter transiting in Virgo, it is not a sign where Jupiter is very happy. Jupiter in Libra is the same thing. The depositor of when it is in Virgo, the depositor sits in the 12th house. When it is in Libra, its depositor again. When it is in Libra, the depositor sits in the 12th house, and when it's Virgo, the depositor is in 2nd house with Shani and aspected by Mangal. So these are the two places where again, while it is transiting, we have to see the depositors. They are not happily placed. But here again, during those periods of 9th and 10th year, there would be problems because Virgo represents well. It also represents some place where you can get caught in a field. Those kinds of problems are represented here in Virgo and Libra, but nothing negative would happen to the extent of creating a bigger issue because of the exchange between Mercury and Venus. This exchange is very powerful. When the exchange happens, we actually place the planets as if they're Sograhi. तो वो स्वग्रही बन जाते हैं. तो because of the exchange, the person is saved from having um, from getting into any issues. As far as education is concerned, we have to see Mercury. Here again, Mercury, whenever aspected by Mars, would give a break in education. Mercury in the house of Mars or aspected by strong Mars can give break of education, but that will happen in the second round only, which I'll explain you in my next video. When Jupiter here in this thing at the Karak, that is Mercury aspected by Mars, it should create a problem in education. But again, here again, Mercury is actually in exchange with Venus, so Mercury becomes exalted. So the uh, natives education would be excellent. I mean, it will be without any breaks, and he will do very well as far as education is concerned. Similarly, the number of brothers and sisters, you have to see what are the planets which Jupiter transits on. Jupiter will transit upon Mangal, Rahu, Surya, Shukra, Shani, Budh. So the potential of 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, and then the potential is there of having 5 siblings. I mean, uh, together would be 5 brothers. He would have 5 more brothers and sisters. But whether all 5 would survive, would not survive, what would happen will depend upon, again, looking at each sign, aspect, depositor, and then analyzing whether they would be a male or a female planet. So this is my short video in which I have tried to explain, how to see the Kartattvas. And in the first round, you will just see Jupiter in its various signs, and what does it energize. Like Jupiter, when it energizes a strong Mars, it can cause wounds, but it is here saved because Saturn holds him back. Jupiter over Rahu will cause some windy trouble. Jupiter in Virgo and Libra, again, there could be issues. So you just transit Jupiter and see that what are the years when there could be some problems as far as health is concerned. Then the seriousness of whether that health issue would happen on that year or not has to be seen, and you can decipher that. Second thing which I've told you is, if you have to look at the father and analyze the father's the nature of the father, what would he do, what would he have, and what would be the scheme of things with the father, taking sun as the Kartattva, sun as the ascendant. I've tried to explain you. Third thing, education is, Mercury is the Karak. Mercury aspected by Mars would be not very good, creating a lot of issues. But here, the Mars again gets, here again, the exchange is there, which literally makes Mercury exalted. So there will be no break in education. That you have to see in the second round of transits of Jupiter, which I will explain to you in my next video. So I hope I've been able to tell some things, and you would find it interesting. Thanks, and bye for now. You can get in touch with me. All my email ID and my sites, etc., is down, and I'll try to answer you. Thanks. Bye for now.